In this video, I'm going to draw out a couple rings and then show you how to make it look like they were actually linked together by using the Live Paint Bucket tool in Adobe Illustrator CC. So I'll get started by coming over to the tool panel and just grabbing my ellipse tool. I'll click and drag, and for this to be a perfect circle, I just have to hold down the Shift key. So now I have one shape here. I'll come to the center of it, click and drag, and I'll hold down the Alt key to draw from the center, and again introduce the Shift key to make it a perfect circle. Now this is the part where I'm kind of deciding on how big I want my ring to be. So right around there looks pretty good to me. I'll select both of these shapes and then come over to the Pathfinder panel, and I want to choose this option here, minus front. When I click on that, it basically turned this shape into a donut. So I'll select my shape and I want to thicken up the stroke a bit. So I'll come over to the stroke panel and I'll give this a stroke of 20 points. There you go. Now that I have my stroke set up, I'll just come over to Object and expand it. I'll hit OK. Now these are just paths, no strokes. Alright, so I'll bring this guy over to this side, and now I want to make a copy of it. So when I'm hovering over it while it's selected, I'll hold down the Alt key, and you see I get a double cursor. I'll click and drag, and that makes a copy of it. If I introduce the Shift key, it keeps it nice and straight for me. Right there looks good to me. And now, let me make a copy of this ring. Hold down Alt, click and drag, and just drop it off over here. I'll select these two rings and hit Command G to group them together. Now I'm going to hold down Shift and click on this one. What I want to do is align these horizontally to the center. Alright, now this guy looks like it's a little bit too high up. So I'll just click and drag, hold down Shift, and right around there looks good to me. Great, so now I got my rings. They're all stacked on top of each other, but they don't look like they're linked yet. So this is the part where I'm going to grab the Live Paint Bucket tool. In order to do that, I just have to come over here to the tool panel and take a look and see where I find the Live Paint Bucket. It's actually kind of hard to find at first, so for me, it's easier to just use the hotkey, which is the letter K, and that'll activate your Live Paint Bucket tool. It's right here in the tool panel. If I click on it, I'll show you why it was hard to find. It was actually just below the Shape Builder tool. So if you see here, the letter K will activate your Live Paint Bucket for you. So now that I have it activated, I actually want to select all my artwork, and the Live Paint Bucket tool is giving me this little message here. It says click to make Live Paint group. So when I click on it, it automatically turned into a Live Paint group for me. Now it has this little expand button here, and when I hold down the V key, you see I get these weird boxes around my bounding box. It's pretty much just a little indicator to let me know that it's a Live Paint Bucket group. I'll go back into my Live Paint Bucket by hitting the letter K, and you see there's some new information right here on my cursor. I got these 3 squares, my black arrow, and this paint bucket that's tipping over. So the 3 top squares, I'll show you what they are. You come over here to your swatches panel. Now, if I use my right and left arrow keys, I could actually cycle through the different colors in my swatches, and they're in order as they are in my swatches panel. If I use the up and down arrow keys, it'll go through the different color swatch groups. I'll leave it right here for now, and this little black arrow is actually where you're going to be dumping the paint in there. So if I come over to this section here, this used to confuse me a lot because I would think that I was actually going to drop off the ink on the right side where the paint bucket is. But the tool is actually giving me a little highlighter indication, letting me know where it's actually going to drop the paint off. So I'll show you how that works. But before I do that, I still have these edges showing, so it makes it kind of hard to see what's going on. If you want to hide these, just come over to View and look for Hide Edges. The keyboard shortcut for that is Command H, which is a good keyboard shortcut for you to know. I'll click on that, and that hides the edges for me, but it keeps it selected. This just allows me to see what I'm doing a little bit better. Alright, so now that I have my ring set up, I'm ready to go. So I'll deal with this ring first. It looks like it's going above this one, and it'd be great if it looked like it was going below this ring here. So I'll just zoom in a bit, and I have the white paint activated right now. So I'll just hover over this part and click on it. I'll hover over this part and click on it. So let me back up a bit. It's starting to look like I actually welded these guys together. So let me remove this piece and this piece. Now it looks like they're completely welded. What I need to do is make some kind of separation here and another one here. I could do that by adding black paint. So I'm going to hit the right arrow key and that activates my black paint. I'll just click wherever these highlights are. And then now when I zoom out, you see it looks like this ring is above here and then going below this section here. Alright, so since this is going above here, let me see if I can make this ring look like it's going below. I'll zoom in on this a bit. Alright, so since I have my black ink activated, I'll come over here and I'll click there, another time here, right there, and another one here. But see, they're going in between each other, so I have to actually bust through here. So I'm going to hit the left arrow key to activate the white paint. I'll click there, 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 and there we go. Now when I zoom out, now it looks like it's going above here and below this section here. So you pretty much just continue doing that throughout your whole session, and this is what I ended up with here. And that's how you make rings look like they're linked together using the Live Paint Bucket tool in Adobe Illustrator CC. For more information on this post, just click on the link provided below in the description.